Welcome to the Actually I Can Female Entrepreneur podcast. I am your host, Hayley Greenacre, a business strategist, coach, TEDx speaker, author, and your go-to woman for all things business strategy. I am obsessed with supporting female entrepreneurs to grow unstoppable six and multi-six-figure businesses that they love, giving them the freedom and life that they desire. During this podcast, I'll be sharing with you everything that you need to become a successful female entrepreneur, from the mindset shifts to sales and marketing strategies, and how to become an iconic leader that people can't get enough of. It is my mission to help you stand out, attract your dream clients and customers, and sell out of your offers with ease whilst building the business and life of your dreams. Let's make this your reality, ladies. Hello, ladies, and welcome to another episode of Actually I Can, the Female Entrepreneur Podcast. And I'm joined today by the fabulous Hayley Su Buchanan, who is the energetic midwife of the extraordinary that uses human design and embodiment techniques. And today we are going to be diving into your nervous system and how it is your biggest business block. Hayley, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome you here on the podcast. Thank you for coming on.
Hello, Kaylee. Hello, everybody. It's so wonderful to be here. Thank you.
I'm excited to dive into this conversation, and I know that there is going to be so much value that you're going to share and give our fabulous listeners. But I always like to start our podcast episodes by diving into a little bit about your story and your journey. So do you want to share with our listeners a little bit more about you and how you got to where you are today?
Oh my goodness, this could be a whole podcast. So I'll give you the short version. So in human design, I'm a manifesting generator, which means I am a go, go, go kind of person who loves to discover many different things. So I'm a high achiever, but I felt really hollow. And through my journey, wait, let's go back. I felt hollow because I'd burnt out my nervous system. I built a six-figure day spa with my mom by the age of 28. I was so disconnected from my body. I almost lost my second child because I was pregnant at the time of doing that. And so I thought that's what business looked like. You had to push, you had to hustle. And I just continued to go, go, go. He was born, and a week later, I was back at work. So I know the story of being able to build an incredible business that is thriving, that everybody sees and goes, wow, she's doing so well. That's so incredible. But inside you feel like, oh my God, how much longer can I hang on for? Is this really what life is about? Is my business meant to drain me and leave me with no time for my family, with no time for actually enjoying the life that I am trying to build? So fast forward to 2022, we immigrated to the UK, and again, I ended up in complete burnout, depression, stress. Just the stress of immigrating itself was not something I would wish on my worst enemy, but my husband hadn't worked for 2 years so before this, and so our money situation was not great. And so, of course, I mean, I'm sure many people know when you're stressed about money, right? Everything just snowballs no matter what you do. And again, that my nervous system was bracing. I was trying to fix everything. I dived into many different businesses, and I ended up in bed, absolutely broken. My body was screaming at me. I actually had an ear infection that floored me. I couldn't hear a thing. I thought I was going to lose my hearing. That's how bad it was. I couldn't stand up, which led to depression. And so this is where my 30 years of experience, knowledge, my tools, my techniques came into play, where I decided I get to choose what the rest of my life looks like. I get to choose how I create from this space. And that's where everything I'd learned became something I actually lived, and how I moved my business forward and started all over again, and making sure that my nervous system is always regulated. And when I say nervous system, I include the body, Kaylee, because not many people include the body when we are creating. And this, for me, is the number one reason we're here, right, on earth, is to experience all these beautiful things through our incredible bodies. So if your body is not happy, if your body is stressed or diseased, she is telling you something. She is signaling to you that something is not quite right in your world. So this is what I do now, is lead from lived experience in alignment with who you truly are. Human design came back into my world in a huge way, and I really feel like it gives you the framework, the basic outline of who you are, what your gifts are, what your shadows are. And shadows are not a bad thing. Shadows are just oh my goodness, okay, I see where I like to go into this, and how can we shift out of that? So yeah, there was something else that I wanted to say, but now it's gone out of my head. It will come back.
I'm sure it will. And thank you so much for sharing, a fantastic, well, and very interesting journey. And ultimately, you had some real challenges that you overcome, and you really lent into, human design, nervous system regulation, embodiment techniques, all of the incredible things that you now support so many people to do today, so that they can become the best version of themselves, and really create success, but also happiness, fulfillment, and all of these incredible things. So I want to dive into this. I want to dive into this into some detail, because I feel that our listeners will really benefit from your skills, your expertise, your knowledge. Let's start with just talking about nervous system, because the nervous system, as we know, is huge. It plays a huge part, as you've just mentioned. And I think that as business owners, we're often under the assumption that, if things aren't working, it's because we've got money blocks, or because we've got, a mindset block here, there, or something else. And there's so many assumptions because we're fed so much information from so many different angles. But the nervous system is the core of us as humans, as individuals. So how does the nervous system influence us in the way that we show up in business as an entrepreneur? Whether it's to do with selling, visibility, leadership, whatever it is, how does it actually influence us?
Oh my goodness, this is such a huge question. It influences us in every single way, right? In every single way. So, like I was saying in my story early on, when your nervous system is bracing,
Hmm.
and depending on where you are in your journey, if you do not, this is just a side note, if you do not have a relationship with your body, I suggest that's where you start. Actually,
Okay.
start creating a relationship with your body where you learn what her signals are. When she's telling you she is bracing, when she's telling you, no, don't go there, right? And it's not about just your intuition, it's your physical signals from your body. So, your nervous system. Those of us that have done money block work, etc., etc., this is all in our head, right? Money blocks and things live in our head, but the nervous system, the dysregulation lives in our body.
Mm.
And when you've done some of this work, you'll be going, but I've done this work. I've seen these patterns. Why am I not changing? Why is the money not coming in? I don't understand. It's not working. And you can say, I'm worthy of money all day. I'm worthy of money. It's not going to change anything unless you show your nervous system that it is safe to expand the capacity. Safe to expand the capacity. What do I mean by that? The capacity of holding money. So all of us have a limit or a ceiling of what
Yeah.
we think we are worth. And that shows up in terms of money. That shows up in terms of money, right? What you think you are worthy of receiving. So once you've hit let's say, a 5K month or a 10K month, you're like, oh my goodness, I've done it. And then suddenly it may drop back down again because you
Hmm.
think, oh my goodness, I did, what did I do? Oh, I had to push to get there. Or did I push to get there? Was I in alignment? And you start surveying your nervous system. Now, when I use that word, what does it feel like to you? Does it feel safe? No. If you are surveying your nervous system and constantly looking for the patterns and the programs because you know you should be, you've done this work and you should be better than you already are, what have you done? You've put your nervous system back into dysregulation. She is bracing because you are creating a what's the word I'm looking for? A hostile environment. You've created a
Right.
hostile environment for your own body, your own nervous system. And so it's about not only regulating that nervous system, how do you regulate that nervous system? How do we do this? By meeting yourself where you are, meeting yourself at the point you are at in this very moment. And it's
Mm.
being gentle and having self compassion for yourself instead of self awareness. Because so many people go, you need to be aware. And I do this, right? You need to be, I just told you, you need to be aware of your body. You need to be aware of the signals. But sometimes that awareness can lead to that hostile environment because you are over surveying the patterns and the programs and the everything instead of creating this beautiful space for your capacity to hold more.
Right. Yeah.
Because we are energy, right? We are
Yeah.
energy. Everything is energy around us. And so we can receive energy through our bodies. And this is something I do every single day inside of our membership because it takes practice. It takes
Mm.
practice. Like going to yoga, like going to the gym, building muscle, it takes practice to continually receive the abundance, the extraordinary, as I call it, finding the extra in the ordinary. So once you start to move that energy through your body, you can actually begin to feel, okay, how much am I able to hold as this energy moves through me?
Mm.
And then you can start to look at it logically. What is the number I feel comfortable holding? The number in my bank account, the number I charge for a session. And you can feel that in your body. So when you have a relationship with your body and that nervous system is calm, you can go, oh, that feels comfortable. And I'm happy to receive that.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you put your price up, you can feel that little in your
Yes.
body. And it's about showing your body, showing your nervous system, having that compassion and going, it's okay. Look, we were safe to receive this amount. And now we are safe to expand to that little bit more. And there's a whole lot of other healing things and ancestral work and everything that comes with this, Kaylee, that obviously we don't have time for today because we're really focusing on the nervous system. But this is where you start. Have more compassion for yourself than awareness.
Do you know what? This is absolutely fascinating as well because, again, so many people talk about mindset and, I know a lot about mindset and, I've written a book on mindset and I know how important it is. But it's, what you're saying is all of this work around your nervous system and your body and really understanding. I think it is about understanding and it all works alongside the mindset
Yeah.
work, doesn't it? You can't
Yes.
just do the mindset work, which is what
No.
actually a lot of people preach, don't they? They say, if you've got your mindset sorted, you're good. As an entrepreneur, you're going to smash it. But actually, the nervous system is huge and it's like a massive, and I think I had this realization about a year and a half ago when I spoke to someone else about nervous system regulation, And I was blown away by how I just don't think I was ever really introduced to it. I wasn't,
Yeah.
I was my late 30s, never even been introduced to nervous system work. And I was like, wow, this blows my mind. And this kind of leads on to the next question that I've got for you, because as humans, as entrepreneurs, as women, many of our listeners to this podcast are women. Are there any particular signs that we experience that kind of gives us an indication that our nervous system is dysregulated? Because I'm assuming it potentially might be different for each individual, but I'm sure you're very familiar with the sort of common signs that people might feel or sense.
Yeah. So when we are, first of all, I just want to your point about mindset.
Yeah.
Mindset works when you are regulated. So,
Yeah.
yes, the mindset piece is very important, but it will not work if you are just doing that. I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy in the top. I'm pointing to my head because you're just in the head.
Yes, of
So,
course.
how this shows up, it may be procrastination
Mm.
because you're
Hmm.
dysregulated. You just don't want to do it. You can't make yourself do it, right? Lack of energy, not wanting to show up on social media can be a dysregulated nervous system, right? It's that overwhelm. It's the feeling lethargic.
Okay. Yeah.
It's pouring wine at 4 p.m. and scrolling Instagram, watching everybody else succeed and thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? But nothing's wrong. Your system is just not feeling safe enough to expand.
Mm.
So all of those things that I have experienced, that I do still experience, right? Because our nervous system is never, that's why I do what I do every single day.
Yeah.
Because as we see things on social media, as somebody says something to us, we're triggered in different ways. And so our nervous system is constantly responding to what we are consuming, right?
Mm. Mm.
And
Yes.
so every single day, you need to check in and go, all right, where am I feeling a little bit anxious today? And this is why I say having a relationship with your body is so important, because it may be a tightening of your chest, or it may be just a bouncing of your knee. My husband and my son constantly sit with this
Soothing.
bouncing, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it's okay. It's okay. What are you anxious about? And we're not anxious. We're not anxious. But that is a sign that you actually aren't in safe regulation.
Mm.
So in your business, yeah, procrastination is probably the biggest thing, probably the
Yeah.
biggest one that I see the most often. And you can't make a decision. You just can't make a decision on anything. You don't, oh, I don't know, you're so indecisive. Um, when I work with clients like this, they're like, I don't know. I don't want a business. I do want a business, but I don't know. There's no clear pathway for them to move forwards. And until we've regulated that system and shown them what is possible, then they feel safe and go, oh, okay, this is what it could look like. And okay, am I feeling safe enough to expand into that? Because that's what it is, right? You are still you, and I am
Yeah.
still me. No matter how much we change and grow and shift and regulate, we are still ourselves, but we are claiming more of us as we regulate and become safer in our bodies to show up as who we are. We're claiming more of ourselves and saying to the world, this is me, right? And it may not be so dramatic to the world, putting yourself on social media or whatever it is, standing on stages, but maybe it's contacting those 5 clients. that you know have been waiting for you, but you haven't yet done.
Again, fascinating in terms of, again, just sort of understanding our bodies and really recognizing key things. I think for me, whenever I start to feel a little bit anxious, that's definitely my sign. And I start to, it's interesting that you're saying that two of your family members sort of jig there. I'm doing this with my hand, but no one can watch this. But with their leg. And I often do that. And when I'm feeling a little bit anxious, what I find myself doing is I'm like on edge, and I'm like, I need to get up, I need to be pacing. I'm a bit of a pacer, and I need to walk, and I need to move, and I'm trying to distract my mind, but actually, what I'm it's not really working. It's not really
Yeah.
helping. So again, sort of going back to the roots of what you're saying, and I know we'll give some great tips for people today anyway. But it's really interesting. It's interesting to hear what you have to say about this. And I'm sure, again, our listeners will be thinking, oh, yes, procrastination is potentially one that I think nearly everyone has experienced at some point. But also, if you're like me, if you're a little bit of an anxious person, when you're feeling a little bit unsafe, are you like me, where you pace the room, where you feel like you've got to speak to someone and just talk,
Yeah.
or do something to take your mind fit? It's really, really interesting. And I think as entrepreneurs, so many entrepreneurs, in fact, nearly every entrepreneur, they want to be successful. They want to create impact. They might want more money. I mean, I'm sure 9 times out of 10 people want more money. They want more visibility. But
Yes. Yes.
subconsciously, might not be safe holding that. So, if we were talking about these,
Yeah.
6-figure or even 7-figure businesses, it sounds incredible, right? But then actually, people feel a little bit like, are they safe?
Very,
Is that safe? Why does
very
that happen to
unsafe.
us? Why does it actually happen? Why do we feel unsafe about making more money or
Money.
getting more visible, standing on stages?
So there's many, many reasons. So I spoke about the ceiling or the limit earlier. And this can come from many places. And for me, when I really looked at this is how I always love to speak, is from my experience. Um, was I recognized that I didn't want to outshine my dad or out earn my dad. And so if you started to look within your family where you've been taught, especially I'm a girl, right? Dad is head of the family. You don't want to be bigger or bolder or make him unhappy. I mean, it sounds completely illogical, right? Why would
Yeah.
he be upset if you earn more money? But it's a really deep subconscious pattern or program or belief system that we instill and live by. So that's, yeah. So one of the reasons is, and I said to you earlier, ancestral healing, and a lot of our subconscious programming comes through our ancestors. And this is why we want to be kept safe because of what has happened in the past. So, this is where all of the energy stuff from lifetimes before shows up in our lifetime. Now we're really getting into the deep stuff here, Kaylee. We're really going into the deep stuff here. Um, and so, if any, just think about it, if any of your ancestors were in the war, in wartime, and I know we're in a little bit of a wartime at the moment, but if they were in wartime, to keep themselves safe, they had to, if they had money, they had to hide it. If they didn't have money, they had to steal to get food or whatever it was. So we are always in the state of, is it safe to have more money? How much responsibility do I have when I earn 6 or 7 figures? How much more tax do I need to pay?
Yeah.
Right? There's all of these things that you don't even think about. But when we start to have these kinds of sessions and discussions, you'll be amazed at what suddenly comes out of people and they go, oh, I didn't even think about that. But obviously it's been playing on a loop in the background of their lives. And that's why they haven't got to that 6, 7, 8 figure mark, whatever it is, right? Because they're not safe. But responsibility is actually one of the biggest ones that I see. If I earn money, I'll be responsible for more of my family members. If I
Mm.
earn money, I'll have to give more. If I earn money, more people will be asking me for my money. If I earn more money, I'll have to pay more tax. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's incredible work when you start to look at this and see, oh my goodness. So it's not only what your mind is telling you, but it's all of the beautiful energy, stardust that you are made up of, right? That
Yeah.
comes with you when you are born. Um, because we are programmed from, I mean, my goodness, when we're in our beautiful mums' tummies, people are already telling our mums what they should and shouldn't be doing, right?
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
listen to our bodies anymore. We don't listen to our bodies anymore because of the systems that have been put in place. And I'm not saying you have to go against every single system, but I'm saying stop going against your own system that is your body, that is your nervous system.
Such a powerful, powerful line there. And you're so right. It's so easy, isn't it, to be distracted by what other people think is right for us and potentially even misled to an extent because you see so and so doing something and that seems to be the right thing because it's right for them. It doesn't necessarily mean it's right for us internally. Right. And this is so, so powerful. And this links a lot to, energetic alignment, and again, I know you're massive on embodiment, energetic alignment. How does this play a part in, in being an entrepreneur and sort of, again, working with your nervous system?
It plays every part, Kaylee, because if you are not embodying
Mm.
safety, if you are not doing the deeper work, yes, you can build the business through hush, through hustle and push, like I did at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I'm seeing, that even those top earners are still creating from scarcity.
Yes.
There's still that fear that I'm going to lose it all. And that's not embodied alignment with your business.
No.
So when we are completely embodied and aligned with our business, it's just who you are. There's no
Mm.
performance. There's no, you have that relationship with your body. So for me as a manifesting generator, I feel everything in my gut. It's a yes, no decision instantly. I'm one of those buyers as well. When I see something and it's an energetic hell yes in my body, I'm taking the action to follow that energy.
Yes.
And so when we build a business from this space, it gets to be your legacy. It lasts that much longer because you're actually doing what you love. You're being who you were truly brought here to be instead of, as you said, what somebody else is telling us to do. So I 100% believe that our bodies show us the way to be wealthy in this world.
Mm. Yeah.
Literally, we do not tap in enough to our bodies. And this is what embodiment is for me, is literally seeing everything that surrounds us. And this is where the extraordinary comes in. The ordinary life that we live day to day, and it's finding the extra. It's seeing that beautiful sunrise and feeling it move through your body and going, wow, that makes me wealthy. Because wealth for me is not just about money. It's
No.
in every aspect of my life, right? I want wealthy relationships and I want a wealthy, healthy body And yes, I
100%.
want wealth in my bank account, right? In all of
Yes.
the areas, that is embodiment of everything. When you allow yourself to start recognizing that you are where you are at this very moment, you are right on time, you are not behind. We start from this point and just allow your body that safety, that breath.
Mm.
Breath is extraordinary, right? It is the extra in the ordinary. Without breath, we have no life.
So true.
And so building a business from literally your breath, where it's as easy as breathing, that's what it should feel like. That's what true aligned embodiment is, where business and wealth just feel like breathing.
Oh, you make it sound so incredible as well, because it can be. I think this is the thing, isn't it? We do put so much stress, overwhelm, anxiety. Well, we put so much stress and pressure on ourselves, and it creates the overwhelm and
Yeah.
anxiety. Is there, so I want to talk more about extraordinary and the incredible work that you do with your clients. And I'm sure some of the things I'm going to ask you next will help some of our listeners as well. So when you work with entrepreneurs and they potentially come to you, they're maybe feeling stuck, maybe overwhelmed, quite anxious, as we've just sort of mentioned. What are some of the first shifts or strategies that you help them with to lean into this work further and allow them to feel more open, more at ease, more at peace?
So, yeah, I'm first going to encourage you to find a daily practice, and we would
Mm,
work this out together. If my daily practice does not work for you, because everybody that works with me gets access to my daily practice that I do every morning at 8 a.m. live with everybody on Zoom. It's for me as much as it is for my community, and it is the backbone of everything. This is what got me out of my depression. It
mm,
is what moved me forward. Um, so starting to just listen. Listen. We don't listen, Kaylee, because we want to continually share our stuff, right? And consume all of the stuff on social media and everywhere. And I will often say to my clients, the next time you climb into your car, turn the radio off, put your phone away, and just allow yourself the space to drive and listen. Listen to your body, listen to the outer world, notice what's going on around you, and you're giving your body space to actually release, because we continuously receive, right? Our bodies are these beautiful beacons that continuously receive information for us.
yes.
And it's about releasing some of that, because not all of the information is for you. So
Mhm.
this is what I teach you, as that not all of the information that we receive in our bodies is for you. And so when I'm going to encourage all of the listeners to do this the next time you get in the car. And we talk about in human design our centers. So, depending on how many open centers you have in your human design chart,
Mhm.
you should be spending 15 minutes per open center in quiet time. So, for me, that looks like going for a walk for 45 minutes, because I only have 3 open centers. So, 45 minutes with no music, no phones. It's just connecting into the earth, just being in the space. And people will often ask me, can I listen to a meditation? No, don't consume anything.
Ah,
Just
so
look
complete.
around you and see the ordinary, the extraordinary that is in front of you, and allow it to move through your body. And then you are releasing from those open centers, because our open centers are the spaces that truly receive all of the outside information. So if you're somebody that has a lot of open centers, you do need to give yourself a lot of quiet time. And I mean, I have some clients that have like 6 open centers. They say to me, Hayley, where do I have freaking that much time? And I said, just give yourself, even if it's in 15-minute increments,
Yes. Yeah.
right? Just find that time. So when you're working with me, this is exactly what we do. We're first going to do your human design chart,
Of
of
course.
course, so that I can see everything and give you the map of you, because it is literally the map of you. And then we're going to start leaning into, okay, what is showing up in your world? Where are you living in your shadows? Where are you not seeing the extra in the ordinary that is already surrounding you? And where do you not have compassion for yourself for where you are right now?
Yeah.
So, depending on the person that comes to me and where they're at in their journey, because this is why my work is just so beautiful. Yes, I have my framework of the extraordinary and the beautiful human design, but each person is unique. Each person is different. And that's why my beautiful gift, my free gift that I'm sure you're going to give to our listeners is
Yes.
your unique energetic blueprint.
Hmm.
And it takes me 48 hours to get that back to you, because it's not done by AI. It's not something that's just been, put together and sent out. I take my time looking at your human design chart, because you are unique. You are different to me. You are different to my last client. And so it's seeing, okay, I see this. This is showing up really strongly. And also having a conversation with you, I may already feel in, because I am very intuitive, and because I have such a good relationship with my body, I feel what you are feeling.
Mm.
Um, but this, so yeah, I every client I see is unique. Even in my group coaching program, the Extraordinary Wealth Method, it's still unique to you.
Yeah.
This is how to that program is how you build a business through being you. Literally, that's what we're doing in that space. Through your human design, through how you show up in the world, how you consume the world, and how people consume you. That sounds so terrible, consume you, but they do, right? We do
Yeah.
consume each other's information and transformations.
Absolutely.
Um, but I think I answered your question in a very roundabout way.
No, but it's fantastic. And it's fantastic to hear about the work that you do. And like you said, every single individual is an individual, so therefore the support that you offer is bespoke. And again, you start with the human design and that particular piece of work that then allows you to continue and to dive deeper into that individual and supporting them on their journey. So, and I always find it fascinating in terms of how people work with their clients as well. So, the whole concept around the extraordinary is just incredible. It really, really is. So we're coming towards the end of the podcast episode, and I just want to ask you just one final question for our listeners, because I'm sure there are so many people that are listening to this right now and blown away, first of all, by how expansive this episode is, and ultimately the knowledge, the expertise that you have. So if they are listening and they're like, right, okay, I feel really cool to lean into this work, and I really want my business to feel completely aligned, regulated. I want to be regulated. I want to feel, I want it to be expansive rather than sort of the overwhelm, the stress, the
Mm.
all of the things we put on ourselves. What is your final piece of advice, or where should they start?
Start where you are at. That is the biggest being honest with yourself, Kaylee, is where are you? Because when we have a starting point, it's so much easier to move forward, right? But if
Yes.
it's all in your head, and I like it to be for you to actually write down, okay, this is where I'm at the moment. Yes, I have a business. I'm making X amount. I have this many clients, or it looks like this. It feels like this in my body. Very important. This is what it feels like owning my business.
Yeah.
So I will encourage all of you to write down where you are at with your business right now and be completely honest, because you're only lying to yourself
Yeah.
if you're making things up, right? And look at your numbers, look at your bank account. So many people are afraid to actually open their bank account and do a proper audit of where their money is and where they're holding their money. This is a
Mm-hmm.
whole other discussion, because you can have a business account, a savings account, a private personal account, money pots, but how much money is actually are you actually holding all together? All together. So I'm going to encourage you to start there and
Mm-hmm.
then ask yourself, what are you comfortable earning? What is that space that you feel safe in? And again, be honest with yourself, not what you want to earn.
Mm-hmm.
It's where are you comfortable earning? Because that's the place we start at. And we get to expand and grow from there and show your body and your nervous system that it's okay to expand from that space. But until you've truly looked at that space, you can't move forward.
Yeah. Being really honest,
Yeah.
really, really honest with yourself. Hayley, it's been such a pleasure having this discussion with you for the podcast and diving into the extraordinary, the nervous system, regulation, how you can energetically align everything as an entrepreneur. I absolutely love this conversation. Where can our listeners find you and connect with you?
All of the places, Kaylee. I'm on Instagram at Hayley_Sue, on Facebook, Hayley Su Buchanan. Those are my two main platforms that I love to be on. So yeah, come find me, DM me. I respond to every DM and comment, query that you may have. Let's have a conversation. And I'm going to offer one final piece of advice. Stop trying
Mm.
to force your business to work. Stop trying to force your business to work and start becoming so embodied in your worth that your clients, money, and opportunities chase you. The extraordinary life that you're seeking, it's not out there. It's in the ordinary moments when you finally feel safe in your own skin.
Oh, my goodness. I love this so much. It's been a pleasure, Hayley. Thank you so much. For our listeners, her links are in the show notes. So go and connect with Hayley. Go and check out her incredible work that she does. She's obviously got a gorgeous gift for all of you as well. So go and connect with her, say hello, drop into the DMs, as we know how powerful the connection and conversation can be. But Hayley, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you to everyone that has tuned in today's episode. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, and I'll see you all again next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Actually I Can Female Entrepreneur podcast with me, your host, Hayley Greenacre. If you are ready to build, grow, and scale your dream six-figure or multi-six-figure business, then head to our website now for more information or connect with me on socials to see how you can create your dream business and dream life.